I will hands down say the women's team is better than the men's team. If you want to see pure total rugby, kujionea mademu wakicheza. Kwa hiyo nini uongo tupatane ile. Usipoenjoy your game, ndakulipa.
They are good. They are good.
Those are Mika's
no.
views.
What Mika? There's one. They have a very big player who's
that team is better than the men's
kuna
team.
hand off.
There are a lot of men rugby fans than women's fans in Kenya, and actually worldwide. Again, depending on what corner of the world you are. If you go to New Zealand, yes, you'll find a lot of women rugby fans. But the main thing that I usually say is that, again, if you're a rugby fan or if you love any kind of rugby and you want to see some good rugby, the women are playing some really good rugby, as Micah has said, that, again, they're playing some good pristine rugby. The girls have only lost one game through the Challenger Series. Again, it was a major flip.
But Kwenye, what I want you to address right now is that core status, being in that top in that top league for both the men and the women. I mean, we talk about it a lot, but what does it really mean for the players? What does it really mean for the fans? What does it mean for the funding part of it? And what does it mean for the future of Kenyan rugby? I know there's a lot of put in there, but just give us a brief of what the importance of the core status is. The women, of course, will be going in there for the first time if they qualify. Konye.
So, again, as many people might know, again, there are two, at this particular point, there are two main tiers that we have. Again, there is a core status, which Kenya men's are playing, the Shujaras are playing in. And then there's a Challenger Series, which are the girls that I just talked about earlier, that the girls just won. So, the core status, you do get a specific amount of funding from World Rugby. And the funding that you get from World Rugby can be able to be utilized to develop your program, to build your ground, your ground programs in the background, and then, to sustain your programs as you go. The dilemma that you have is once you fall out of the core status, how much funding do you get? That is not yet to be discussed yet. And the other thing is, so when you're in the Challenger Series, you do get some funding, but it's not as much funding as you get as when you're in a core status. So that is always a big deal. Number two thing, the thing you did ask about, what does it mean for the fans? The fans, it means that, again, if both teams are on the core series, a fan like me does not have to be spending money to go to two different series, and I can only go to one series, and I can switch both, and maybe I can have a little more free time. Maybe I can do other things. I can find another new hobby. So that'll be a good.
So, yani umesema Huruma is not an estate.
and then you also the word. I don't even know if it's an English series. I don't even know if that's an English word. Series. Two series. Huh?
You're dealing with a doctor here.
Okay. As far as we know, it is right.
Yes. Okay. He's a doctor. He cannot be wrong.
Anashika scalpel alafu na wewe ndio kwa hapo chini.
Nakubali series is
And
English.
by the way, I'm speaking through I'm channeling Konye. Ototigivie. Haya, carry on.
Yeah, that one right there. I agree with you. Konye.
So again, that means less trips or more directed trips and more directed resources. And again, more directed and focused energy. Again, I don't tire traveling. Again, I don't mind traveling because again, rugby has taken me to a lot of places where I've never visited before. So I get to enjoy visiting new places. But again, the less, the better.
Okay. All right. So I want to remind the listeners that you're tuned in to the One Mic Show, and we have Konye Wanjoroge live. Dr. Konye Wanjoroge. I keep forgetting that. He's not just a doctor of rugby culture, but he's also a doctor of medicine.
Actually, a doctor of what?
Of rugby culture.
Put respect on the name.
Yes,
what?
He's also a doctor of medicine.
Konye umesikia doctor of what?
Yes, you up. We've coined him today.
It has been coined here.
If it picks up, we just send him an invoice.
Yeah, no, and mutasikia watu wengine wakichukua kama hashtag ya.
Yes, kama hashtag ya twende study.
Anyway.
The way some other people try to take it.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah, but let's keep going.
Umekuja na violence.
Yes, I also Yes, I also want to
Well,
welcome.
you are na inventors.
Yes, sawa. One big thing here, Konyen, I would like, like the women who are tuned in here to type in the comment section, whether on YouTube or on Facebook, to tell us if they're coming. Because the women's team is coming, and it's been, I must say at a personal level, it's been a challenge, convincing women, because this should be a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal for Kenyans as a whole, but it should also be a big deal for women, because women are coming to play for the first time. So,
Ali before kwenye onge,
Yes,
let
go
me
ahead,
add,
Mika.
wacha niongeze kakuni kwa hiyo moto. Let me
Yes.
add something.
Okay, 20 minutes.
Honestly,
Yeah.
right now, I will hands down say the women's team is better than the men's team. If you want to see pure total rugby, kujionea mademu wakicheza. Kwa hiyo dhani ni uongo tupatane na ili. Usipoenjoy your game, ndakulipa.
They are
Well,
good. They are good.
Those, but
Kuna-
those are Mika's
No,
views.
what Mika? There's one. They have a very big player who's
That team
handoffs.
is better than the
Yani
men's
kuna
team.
handoffs zingine
Hands down.
anapea handoffs kama sita
Yes.
and she doesn't go down.
Well, but the team is good, no
Ali,
doubt.
ama
And
demu
they're
wamelose
games.
game ngapi? Wamelose game moja.
No, they-
Wamelose game moja the World Series tournament.
By the way, me,
That
I
is-
even felt if they're in the main series, they would have caused a lot of problems.
Oh yeah,
If
that
the
team
men's
is
series
way
this season.
better than the men's team. So if you want to see total pure rugby, and honestly, I'm not capping here. Those girls are good. So again, this is a spectacle that has never happened before. If you have a chance to come to LA, come to LA, because you're going to see the men who are used to, and right now they're at peak or may peak form. Like last year, they peaked form at the end of the
Yes.
season, which is good for them. The chances of staying in the main cup are high. But I can guarantee, and I can put my money down and say that if I was a betting man, I would put my money down and say the women will qualify. Machanini anasema, yeah, ni wazuri, but competition is tough.
Yeah.
Kuna team ngumu hapo, but for the chicks, even with the tough competition, that team is good.
Okay, aya sawa sawa. You're saying if you're betting, but kumbuka betting ni haram. Hata shati yangu ya sports pesa nimekataa. But sawa sawa. Let's go back to Konye on this issue of women, and I'm glad to see, like I can see Aida hapa anasema I will be there kwa stadium for the Lionesses, and then Brenda BK anasema Mika uko na point, Lionesses are fire. So Konye, on hii issue ya like just making, especially because of course most rugby fans in Kenya are mostly men. There are women who watch rugby, but it's mostly men who watch it consistently. That we need to do to communicate to our women that this right here is a big deal, because there's always issues that come up, like when it comes to women's sports in Kenya, Nanini, but this right here, how do we communicate to make, like our women who are maybe casual fans or maybe not even fans, to make them understand how big of a deal this is? Konye.
Again, as you might have, that's very clear that there are a lot of men rugby fans than women's fans in Kenya, and actually worldwide. Again, depending on what corner of the world you are. If you go to New Zealand, yes, you'll find a lot of women rugby fans. But the main thing that I usually say is that, again, if you're a rugby fan or if you love any kind of rugby and you want to see some good rugby, the women are playing some really good rugby, as Micah has said, that, again, they're playing some good, pristine rugby. The girls have only lost one game through the Challenger Series. Again, it was a major flip. That day was cold as hell, and I felt bad. Even in the stands, I was freezing my balls off. So those girls were right in the middle, they were right in the middle of the thick of it. And again, the ball rolled in the wrong direction. So cannot blame them. But as I always say, sometimes you have to learn to lose to be a good winner. So the girls came back with a vengeance, and guess what they did? They did put in their effort. So as I say, Kenyan women are to be cheered for. And if you are a rugby fan, or even if you don't watch rugby, just come out there. I'll teach you a few songs that you're going to be able to create some memories out of, that you came and cheered for the women's team. And that's something that's going to leave some memory in you.